Hey, you guys, thank you for tuning in this week. I'm your host, Jazzy929, and this is my movie and TV review show. There will be spoilers ahead. I am going to be reviewing Lovecraft Country, Season 1, Episode 6.
Welcome to the TV and movie review show, bringing you a review on the latest TV shows and movies. So let's jump into it. Hope you enjoy the show.
Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning in this week. This episode was titled Meet Me in Daegu. This episode took place in 1949 and ended in 1950 in Daegu during the South Korean War. It revealed details about Jia. This character loves going to the movies. She loves to get away from her undesirable life. She enjoys dancing to Judy Garland, singing to the movie as it plays. We find out that Jia is Tick's ex and also his first sexual partner. He met her while he was serving in the war. We find out that she has a vision of Tick's death, and she also tries to warn him in this episode. Jia seems to be a kamuhu, and a kamuhu is a nine-tailed fox spirit that was summoned by her mother. Her mother wanted to avenge the wrongdoing that was done to her by her father. He raped her, and she has to get the souls of 100 men to get her human spirit back. So we see all during this episode, her mother is pushing her to get these men and to get her human spirit back. She tells her that she's a monster and she wants her baby back. She continues saying this in this episode. We see that Jia has a friend. Her name is Young G. I think people misunderstood the relationship in this episode. The reason I say that is because I think that it was just a friendly, affectionate relationship. They have something in common. Both their mothers is pushing them towards something that they don't want to do. And they want their daughters to be someone that they're not. We saw in this episode that Jia brought a victim home from a bar. We see that they're having sex. She is seducing this man, and all of a sudden, no tails come out, and they end up clutching into him. And then she sucks his memory out, and then after that, she devours him, and he explodes. That was crazy. I was like, "Oh my goodness, what is going on here?" I know everybody else was too. The whole scene was crazy, but it was good. I wasn't expecting that, though. I didn't know exactly what she was going to do to him, but yeah, that was a lot. But we also see in this episode her first encounter with Tick. Tick was there with the sergeant, and they had pulled some nurses out of the hospital, and they was interrogating the nurses and asking them which one of them was a spy. During this time, we saw a sergeant shoot a nurse. Tick was beside the sergeant during this time, just doing his duty. So it was a bad impression. Tick left on Jia at first. She thought he was a monster, which is totally understandable because if someone shoots someone in front of you, you would think they was a monster. Not just that, they carried away her friend, Young G. And we see later on this episode, they tortured her and end up pulling her teeth out. Now, this was a lot for me because we seen that Tick was holding her mouth. Tick was a monster in this episode. I was not ready for that, but I always knew something was behind. See, Tick has his demons, and I think there's more to it. We just seen a little bit, yo. I think there's going to be more to Tick than what we are expecting. Then we see that Tig ends up getting hurt, and he goes to the hospital. During that time, Gia sees him, and she is planning to make him her victim. But they learn that she learns that he's not as bad as what she thinks he actually is. They grow on each other. They get to know each other. They actually start dating. They start going together. They have a sexual encounter. She learns that, as far as Gia, y'all, she learns that she can control the monster inside of her. She has a very good time with Tig, as we see. They have an amazing sex scene, y'all. One of the best sex scenes that we've seen him have, I think. She goes home and she tells her mother, like, look, Mom, I'm not this monster you think I am. I actually have feelings for this man. And then her mother tells her, like, look, did you tell him what you are? And then she gets silent. So, in this episode, we see that Tia and Tig actually, they bond. They have these monsters inside of them, but they want to be seen as something more than these monsters, and they bond on that level. But we see in this episode too that Gia tells him in a way what she is. She tells him the story of what this spirit is, and then he actually tells her, like, look, I have the opportunity to go back home. And she tells him, like, go ahead, basically, and go. He tells her no. She says no. He says no, I can stay here. She says no, it would be fair if I kept you. He said, won't you go with me? And she said no, which is totally understandable because, see, America, we don't want no demons over here. The Daegu thing that she got going on, we can't handle that. Keep that over there in Korea. We saw that happen, and they end up having sex again, y'all. And during that time, we see that she is so into it. At this time, she can't control the tails. The tails come out. They go ahead and latch onto him, and she sucks his memories out. During that time, we see visions that he has, or she has, well, his visions that she sees. And one is of him with his mother as a young man. Then we see one of his father giving him a butt whooping, which I call butt whooping. Y'all probably saying beating, but that's an old fashioned whooping for me. And then we see a vision of Letty, and then we see Liddy. How y'all saying that? Letty? I don't know, but y'all know who I'm talking about. We see a vision of her. We see a vision of him with a woman, which he had sex with, which I think is in Florida after the war, before he goes to Chicago. I think that where this woman comes into play at. And then we see him looking like, it looks like during the scene, the flashback, that he was dying. He was on his way of being sacrificed, or he is being sacrificed. What I think is going on here is he's going to be sacrificed, but he's going to come back. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. What else did we get out of this episode? That's basically it. I thought that Gia was so beautiful in this goddamn episode. Tig was doing his thing. I want you to know that I am giving away a t-shirt that was inspired by this TV show. You can find the details over on my website. Don't be shy. Feel free to go over to my store and spoil yourself. You can find it at Jazzy Loyal 929. Also, feel free to join my Facebook group. It is the 929 House. I would love to interact with you guys, learn more about you. You can also learn more about me. You are so amazing, and I do appreciate you all. Until next week I will be reviewing Lovecraft Country episode 7. With that being said, have a good day. Until next time, everyone.
Find Talking Out Loud with Jazzy 929 at Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Castbox, Deezer, Soundcloud, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Find merch at Redbubble.